Isabel Segovia. I'm the Secretary of Education of Bogota, which is the capital of Colombia in Latin America.
Can we talk about how you're addressing the digital divide in Colombia?
Well, as Secretary of Education, I'm in charge of the public schools from elementary until middle school, but we also have a very critical policy in what has to do with the tertiary education and what our youth in Bogota are willing to do in terms of education. So basically, what we're doing is guaranteeing that children have connectivity, which is something that it might look very easy in many other countries of the world. Is not in Colombia. Colombia has a very complicated geographical situation. We have the Andean chain, the mountains in the middle of the country, and most of the people live in the mountains, which is very interesting, not in the coast. And the coasts are a little bit isolated from the rest of the development of the country. So we're guaranteeing connectivity, but we're also guaranteeing technology and access to technology. And the important part here is how you challenge an educational system, even from the very beginning, from the early childhood education until the tertiary and superior education in general, university education, how you challenge a system so that teachers feel like the access to technology is not a threat, but it helps them. And this is what policy has to do right now, because it used to be a very complicated thing because you had to train teachers how to use technology. Nowadays, with AI and how technology has become so accessible to everyone, what teachers find is that they actually have an opportunity to use technology and to learn from technology to be able to transmit it to kids. And sometimes it works the other way around. Kids help teachers acknowledge that. And it's important because what you want to do in countries like in Latin America, like Colombia, is that you don't want to limit the access to AI and to technology to kids because of the threats that it means to older people. But you want to be able to guide it with enough supports from teachers and parents that will not feel threatened by it.
So what we're sort of talking about here is bridging policy with pedagogy.
Yeah.
So what sort of things are you sort of implementing at the moment to be able to do that bridge from policy and looking at skills of the future to pedagogy with delivery?
Yeah. There's something happening in the market which is very interesting. It's a lot of people selling you AI technologies and AI programs for education. That's all over. And of course, there's no limit from it. But many of those things have not been tested yet. They're out there, and as a policymaker, you have to be very careful what inputs you put into schools and what you are willing to try with kids and not to try with kids, which is very interesting. But one of the things that I found among the several opportunities they've been trying to sell me is everything that has to do with teacher training and teacher organization. And since they're adults, you can try a lot of stuff with the teachers, and teachers will give you feedback about what's happening over there, and the whole organization of programs and how to organize a class. A lot of things have been gathered into the AI world that helps a lot teachers. I wouldn't say that nowadays, besides learning another language, which is the other big exception in it, you will try with kids directly, but there are so many things that you can try through teachers and through adults and through even parents in general, so that they can broaden those barriers and actually access and improve education in general.
You're doing an awful lot, it sounds, with improving digital infrastructure and connectivity, and that's obvious as to why, because of the benefits around that. How can we learn from what you're going through in Bogota with not having a bigger digital divide between those that have got great connectivity, like in Singapore, where there wouldn't be an even increase in digital divide with the use of AI in industry, in increasing productivity?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to have very I will say, focused programs in like digital hardware and be able to guarantee certain minimums, because you see the digital world is so huge that even when you have something that is minimum nowadays, you actually can access basically the whole world, but you have to guarantee that. So you have to guarantee connectivity. That is still a challenge in Bogota, but it's improving a lot, especially for rural areas. It's still a challenge. And so you have to guarantee connectivity. Then you have this whole technology, the phone technology, that also helps you a lot with the connectivity part, which is good, especially for big cities like Bogota. And then you also have to guarantee hardware, which is the big challenge, because hardware is what kids don't have in societies like Colombia, especially when you go to the less privileged children, which is the most of the children that go to the public schools in Bogota are very less privileged. And basically, what you have to do there is be very open-minded in that case, not with the AI, in trying all kinds of solutions. So for example, we're piloting the cloud computer system, which is, you see, you always have these computers that are always obsolete, and it's very difficult to maintain in schools in general. But then nowadays you have these devices that you can actually connect through the web, and you can have the same access as you have a computer. So you have to be, in terms of how we're very open-minded, because it's difficult to think for people that lived in the developed world that, oh my God, how can you not have like access to a very good phone or to a very good tablet or to a very good computer? But it's true, you don't. So having all those new technologies that are coming around, that you can access, all that the computer can access to different modes that are a lot cheaper and a lot easier to maintain, is the way that you can actually reduce the gap, and then kids and young people in general will have the access to all the resources that you can find in technology and connectivity.
Can we talk about some of the things which you're implementing at the moment in tertiary education, outside of AI, but maybe to our audience, if you could explain some of your priorities around tertiary and sort of linking skills and employability?
Yeah, we are actually working first of making sure that children graduate from high school, which is one big issue, and it's a big issue because nowadays children or young people don't feel like education will answer them what they need to be able to get employed and to get trained. So you have that first part. So you have to link the workforce and the technology into high schools to show them how they can actually construct their life project. And once we do that, we have a very comprehensive program to link them to all types of tertiary education, not just university, but also like short cycle courses and intermediate ones too, that will put them in a route to employability. And we do that with different agencies to make sure that when we actually talk to the kid in 9th grade, for example, and we say, what do you like? You actually have the connection in high school, and then you have the connection in whatever type of educational program. Even if you want to go to university too, it's not like it's out of the question. We actually have a very big policy of scholarships for those kids too, depending on what they need. And then how we connect that with the employability part. And we're working with the different agencies to be sure that they actually have the money to study, they have the money to survive when they're studying, and then they have the money and the transfers to be able to get trained in a specific job and to be able to get the job.